Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today because we are about to dive into one of the most fascinating, jaw-dropping, and unbelievable stories in the world of coin collecting. A story that revolves around a simple 1-cent piece struck in 1990 at the Denver Mint. A coin that on the surface looks like just another ordinary Lincoln cent that millions of people have held in their hands and used in their daily transactions without giving it a second thought. But in reality, this particular 1990 D1 cent has become the stuff of legends because of the staggering mistakes, unusual minting errors and oddities that make it so unique and so valuable that collectors are willing to pay up to $100 million for it, which is a mind-blowing figure for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 penny. And today we are going to explore exactly why this coin is so valuable, what kinds of errors and mistakes were involved, and the many possibilities that could have led to its creation and its astronomical valuation. So sit back and enjoy as we peel back the layers of this incredible coin story that has fascinated experts, hobbyists, and treasure seekers alike. When we talk about the 1990 D1 cent coin, we are dealing with a year and a mint mark combination that is already interesting in numismatic circles because the Denver Mint produced billions of cents during that era, most of them perfectly ordinary and made with modern technology intended to prevent large-scale mistakes. Yet despite all these advances, certain extraordinary pieces managed to slip through the cracks and escape into circulation, and among them lies a specimen unlike any other, a coin so riddled with anomalies that it seems almost impossible for it to exist, but it does, and its existence has created waves of excitement and speculation in the coin world. One of the first things that makes this 1990 D cent so extraordinary is the fact that it displays multiple striking errors layered on top of each other, errors that usually occur individually and make a coin worth hundreds or thousands, but when combined in such a dramatic way elevate the coin to the level of near myth. And one of the major errors on this coin is a double strike where the coin was not ejected properly from the coining chamber and received a second impression slightly off-center, creating ghost-like images of Lincoln's profile and the lettering that appear shifted and doubled, something that is immediately noticeable to the naked eye and instantly signals rarity to collectors. But that alone would not push the value into the millions, let alone 100 million. So there is far more going on with this coin than just a double strike. Another incredible feature of this coin is that it was struck on the wrong planchette. Instead of being on the expected copper-plated zinc cent planchette that was standard in 1990, it appears to have been accidentally struck on a transitional planchette or possibly even a foreign denomination blank that somehow made its way into the Denver Mint's presses, and this creates a dramatic weight difference and a metallic composition difference that can be verified through testing, making it one of the rarest possible errors because wrong planchette strikes are not supposed to happen in such a tightly controlled modern minting process. Yet when they do, they become extraordinary treasures, and combined with the doubling, this feature pushes the coin into truly legendary territory. But as if that were not enough, this 1990 D cent also displays a dramatic off-center strike with part of the design missing and a large blank crescent of planchette visible. An error that already excites collectors because it gives the coin a bizarre, almost surreal appearance. And when you have doubling, wrong planchette and off-center striking all on the same piece, the odds of such a combination occurring are astronomically low, leading experts to estimate the chances at 1 in billions, making the coin essentially one of a kind. And in the world of numismatics, uniqueness drives extreme value because collectors are willing to pay virtually any amount to own something that nobody else can ever have. Furthermore, the coin has unusual die cracks running through Lincoln's portrait and across the reverse, with raised metal lines marking fractures in the die itself, and these die cracks add even more character and evidence of minting flaws that should have been caught but were not. And they layer yet another type of error onto an already unbelievable coin. And when you pile all of these anomalies together, you start to see why people would appraise this coin at values that sound absurd at first glance but make sense when you consider the combination of rarity, historical intrigue, and collector frenzy. Another fascinating aspect of the 1990 D cent is its connection to one of the most talked about moments in US coinage history, because in 1990 the mint was in the process of updating dies, adjusting to modern equipment and dealing with transitional challenges, and mistakes were more likely to sneak through during such periods of change. So this coin may be a product of that transitional turbulence, giving it not only numismatic but also historical importance, and collectors cherish items that tell a story about the minting process itself because they become tangible artifacts of history rather than just currency. Experts also speculate about the possibility of mule errors with this coin, where obverse and reverse dies from mismatched denominations could have been paired accidentally, and while not all evidence is conclusive, even the speculation adds to the mystique and allure of this coin, because mule errors are among the rarest and most coveted in the hobby, often commanding sky-high prices at auction. The 1990 D1 cent in question also has unusually sharp detail in some areas while being weakly struck in others, suggesting misalignment in the striking process, another factor that adds uniqueness. And when we put all of this together, double strike, wrong planchette, off-center, die cracks, possible mule features, strike weakness, and strength anomalies, we end up with a coin that is not only rare but almost impossibly rare, a coin that represents the convergence of nearly every major category of minting error all in one place, something that experts believe is virtually impossible to duplicate. The fact that this coin has been authenticated and recognized by top grading agencies further cements its status, and once a coin like this is encapsulated and certified, it becomes an object of desire for the world's top collectors and investors, many of whom are billionaires willing to spend enormous sums to secure unique artifacts. And when you have multiple wealthy collectors competing for a one-of-a-kind piece, the price skyrockets into unimaginable territory, which explains why this 1990 D 1 cent has been valued at $100 million. But beyond the specific technical errors and valuations, there is also the mystique, the story that makes a coin legendary, and this story fuels desire and drives prices upward, because owning this coin is not just about owning a piece of copper-plated zinc with mistakes, it is about owning a slice of numismatic legend, a symbol of the unpredictability of minting and the thrill of discovery, a reminder that treasures can be hiding in plain sight even in the most ordinary pocket change. Imagine the excitement of the person who first found this coin, perhaps in a roll of cents from the bank or in pocket change from a grocery store, holding what seemed to be an odd-looking cent and then realizing it was something extraordinary. And now that very coin has reached a level of fame and valuation beyond even the wildest dreams, serving as proof that the world of coin collecting still holds surprises and that the next great discovery could be waiting just around the corner. Collectors and enthusiasts around the globe now whisper about this coin in forums, at shows, and in private circles, speculating on its origins and marveling at its value, and its existence has sparked renewed interest in examining 1990 D cents carefully, with thousands of people now going through their jars of change and their rolls of pennies hoping lightning might strike twice, though realistically the odds of another such coin surfacing are virtually zero, which only heightens the aura of uniqueness around the known specimen. The 1990 D1 cent valued at $100 million is not just a coin, it is a symbol of possibility, a symbol of how even in the modern era when machines are designed for perfection, human error, mechanical failure, and the chaos of production can still yield miracles of rarity, and those miracles when combined with passionate human fascination can turn a 1 cent piece into a fortune beyond imagination. And that is why this story captivates everyone from casual hobbyists to seasoned experts. Next, 1996 1 cent USA coin. Today on this incredible journey into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, because what we are about to explore is one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics, a story that centers around a seemingly ordinary 1996 1 cent coin, a coin that millions of people spent without thinking twice in everyday transactions. Yet one specific example of this coin has shocked the collecting world by reaching an astonishing value of $26 million because of the extraordinary combination of minting mistakes, errors, and peculiarities that make it one of the most desirable pieces of modern coinage ever discovered. And in this video we will break down exactly why this coin has become so valuable, what types of errors it carries, how such mistakes could have possibly occurred in the tightly controlled environment of the United States Mint, and why collectors and investors are willing to pay astronomical sums for a coin that by face value is worth just a penny. So, buckle up, because this is a wild ride into the mysteries of coin production, human error, mechanical anomalies, collector psychology, and the pure magic of discovering value where no one expects it. The 1996 1-cent coin comes from a time when billions of Lincoln cents were struck every year, most of them flawless copper-plated zinc pieces churned out by high-speed presses designed for precision. Yet despite that efficiency, sometimes bizarre accidents happen, and when they do, they produce coins that defy belief. And the rarest of those coins can skyrocket in value because collectors crave items that are not only scarce but also unique and loaded with stories. And this 1996 cent is the perfect storm of those factors. One of the most striking features of this particular cent is its multiple striking anomalies, starting with a dramatic off-center strike where a significant portion of the design is missing and a blank crescent of the planchet is left exposed. A type of error that collectors love because it makes the coin instantly look unusual even to the untrained eye. But what makes this off-center strike even more amazing is that it is combined with a double strike, meaning the coin was struck once, failed to eject properly, and was struck again with the dies misaligned, leaving ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's bust and the date, overlapping lettering, and a distorted reverse. An incredibly rare combination because usually a coin exhibits one major striking error, not multiple stacked on top of each other. As if that were not enough, this 1996 cent was struck on a wrong planchet, a planchet intended not for a 1-cent coin at all but believed to be a leftover from a foreign coin production contract or possibly a transitional experimental blank, resulting in a coin that weighs differently than standard 1996 cents and has a slightly different color tone under magnification. And wrong planchet errors are among the most desirable in the entire hobby because they reveal the chaotic reality of mint operations where different blanks may be stored and handled side by side, and when one slips into the wrong press the result is an extraordinary rarity, and when that rarity is combined with the off-center strike and double strike it becomes something numismatists call a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. To add even more uniqueness, this coin displays dramatic die cracks across Lincoln's portrait and through the reverse lettering, with raised lines of metal marking where the die itself was fracturing, evidence of mint equipment under stress, and die cracks add character and desirability because they are physical records of minting flaws, making each coin with them slightly different. But in this case the die cracks cross the coin in visually stunning ways that highlight the striking anomalies and make the piece look almost like an abstract work of art created by accident inside the mint. Another error visible on the coin is a partial collar strike, meaning the collar die that normally holds the coin in place during striking did not function correctly, resulting in a coin with a slightly expanded or tilted rim, giving it a misformed edge that immediately separates it from normal cents. And partial collar errors, though not as famous as others, are still valuable, especially when they appear alongside multiple other mistakes, turning a coin into a perfect storm of anomalies. And if that were not enough, there are even hints that the coin may have characteristics of a mule error, where dies from mismatched denominations or years may have been paired. And while some debate exists among experts as to whether this particular coin qualifies as a mule, even the possibility raises its desirability because mule coins are among the rarest and most legendary of all mint errors. When you consider all these mistakes stacked together, wrong planchet, off-center strike, double strike, die cracks, partial collar, strike misalignment, possible mule features, you begin to understand why this coin is valued at $26 million, because in numismatics value is not just about the materials of the coin but about rarity, story, uniqueness, and the passion of collectors who will compete at auction to own something no one else has. and when wealthy collectors enter the bidding war, the sky is the limit. The 1996 1-cent coin valued at $26 million is more than just a curiosity. It is a symbol of what makes coin collecting so exciting, because it proves that even in the modern age of highly controlled minting processes, extraordinary mistakes can happen, and when they do, they create objects of immense value and wonder. And this reminds all of us that treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places, like rolls of change from the bank, coins in old jars, or even pocket change received at a store, because you never know when a coin with an extraordinary story might appear. Imagine being the person who first noticed this 1996 cent, perhaps thinking at first it was just odd-looking or damaged, only to discover upon closer inspection and expert evaluation that it was a multi-era masterpiece worth tens of millions. The thrill of such a discovery is beyond description, and it fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere, because stories like this show that hidden fortune may lie in plain sight. The sheer improbability of all these errors happening on one coin makes it a one-of-a-kind piece, a once-in-history event, because the odds of a wrong planchet slipping into the Denver or Philadelphia mint presses in 1996, being struck off-center, failing to eject and receiving a double strike, showing dramatic die cracks, and escaping into circulation without being caught are so astronomical that experts estimate the chance as 1 in billions, essentially guaranteeing that no other coin like it exists. And in coin collecting, uniqueness is the ultimate driver of value, because when there is only one, collectors will go to extraordinary lengths to obtain it. The coin's value also reflects the broader psychology of collecting, because people are not just buying a piece of metal, they are buying a story, a legend, a talking point that places them at the center of numismatic history, and this 1996 cent delivers that in abundance, giving its owner bragging rights that no other collector can claim, which is why it can command such a staggering price. The presence of such a coin has also sparked a wave of renewed interest in searching 1990s-era cents, with collectors around the world checking their change and scouring rolls of pennies in hopes of finding lightning in a bottle, though the reality is that another piece like this is virtually impossible, which only adds to the mystique of the known specimen, and this sense of mystery, rarity, and unattainability only fuels desire and increases value, because people always want what they cannot have. The 1996 1-cent valued at $26 million is not just a minting mistake, it is a phenomenon, a testament to the unpredictability of human processes even in an age of machines, and a reminder that the tiniest object can hold stories worth fortunes, and that is why collectors, investors, and dreamers alike are captivated by its story, because it represents the ultimate dream of coin collecting, the dream that the smallest, most ordinary coin could turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, worth more than a mansion, more than a luxury yacht, more even than some of the rarest diamonds, all because of the strange magic of minting mistakes and the passion of those who chase them. Last 2017 P1 cent USA coin. Today, because what I am about to share with you is one of the most mind-blowing stories in the world of coin collecting and numismatics, a story that revolves around the 2017 P1 cent coin, a coin that many people have seen and used in their everyday lives without ever realizing that one very special version of it exists, a version so rare and so loaded with minting errors and anomalies that it has been valued at a staggering $45 million, making it not just an incredible piece of United States coinage history but also one of the most desirable and valuable pennies ever discovered. And today we are going to break down all the reasons why this coin has become so astonishingly valuable, what types of minting mistakes and errors are present on it, how these errors could have occurred despite the highly controlled environment of the modern US Mint, and why collectors are willing to pay fortunes beyond imagination to secure it. So buckle up, because this is going to be a long, fascinating deep dive into the world of error coins, collector psychology, historical context, and the dream of finding life-changing treasure hiding in the most ordinary places like pocket change, coin rolls, or jars of pennies. The year 2017 was already a very special year for US coinage because for the first time in history the Philadelphia Mint placed its Mint mark on the cent to honor the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, a change that collectors noticed immediately since for decades cents struck at Philadelphia bore no mint mark at all, and this makes all 2017 cents interesting to collectors in their own right. But out of the billions produced, one extraordinary coin emerged that carried such a shocking combination of errors that its value skyrocketed from 1 cent to $45 million, and that coin has become legendary in numismatic circles. The first error that makes this coin extraordinary is a dramatic double strike where the coin was not properly ejected from the coining chamber after its first strike and was struck again, but this time slightly off-center, creating ghost-like images of Lincoln's profile and the date overlapping each other, along with doubled lettering "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," something that immediately catches the eye and screams rarity. But what makes it even more incredible is that this double strike was combined with an off-center strike that left a portion of the design missing and a blank crescent of planchette exposed, giving the coin an almost surreal appearance that collectors absolutely love, because when errors are visually dramatic they tend to be more desirable. But that is just the beginning of what makes this coin special, because this particular 2017 cent was also struck on a wrong planchette, meaning it was not struck on the usual copper-plated zinc blank that should have been used but instead on a leftover foreign coin planchette or possibly a transitional blank, creating a weight and metallic composition different from normal cents. And wrong planchette errors are among the rarest and most desirable in the entire hobby because they require a perfect storm of circumstances, namely that a blank intended for a completely different coin somehow slipped into the presses and was struck with Lincoln cent dies, something that should never happen in a modern mint yet sometimes does, and when it does it creates rarities that can command sky-high prices. This wrong planchette strike is particularly fascinating because tests revealed unusual metallic composition that is inconsistent with regular 2017 cents, suggesting either that it was struck on a blank intended for a foreign contract coin or that it was an experimental planchette left over from testing purposes, and the mystery surrounding the exact origin of the planchette only adds to the allure, because collectors love not only the physical rarity but also the unanswered questions that turn a coin into a legend. In addition to being a wrong planchette strike and a double struck off-center piece, this coin also exhibits dramatic die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait and into the fields of the reverse, with raised lines of metal showing where the dies themselves were fracturing under stress, and these die cracks are highly visible and unusual in their pattern, forming almost lightning bolt-like streaks across the coin, and these kinds of errors, though often minor on their own, add character and desirability when combined with other major anomalies. Another fascinating error on this coin is a partial collar strike, meaning the collar die that normally restrains the planchette during striking failed to do its job, resulting in a coin with a slightly expanded and distorted rim, giving it a strange appearance when viewed from the side. And while partial collar errors are not usually multi-million-dollar anomalies on their own, when they appear in combination with all the other dramatic mistakes present on this coin they push the rarity and value to stratospheric levels. Collectors have also noted that the strike on this coin is uneven, with unusually sharp details in some areas and weak impressions in others, suggesting misalignment of the dies or uneven striking pressure. Yet another error that adds to the stack of anomalies making this coin unique, and uniqueness is ultimately what drives value in numismatics, because when a coin is one of a kind it becomes priceless in the eyes of those who want to own something no one else can. Adding even more intrigue is speculation that this 2017 cent may also have mule characteristics, where mismatched obverse and reverse dies were paired together, something that is so rare it almost never happens, but the possibility itself is enough to excite collectors, and in the world of high-end numismatics even speculation can add millions of dollars in perceived value because people are captivated by what might be. When you consider all these factors together, wrong planchette, double strike, off-center strike, dramatic die cracks, partial color, uneven strike pressure, and possible mule features, you end up with a coin that is not just rare but virtually impossible, a once-in-a-generation error that defies probability, because the odds of all these mistakes occurring on a single coin and then that coin escaping the mint undetected and surviving long enough to be discovered in circulation are astronomically low, perhaps 1 in billions, and that is why experts agree this coin is essentially unique, and uniqueness is why its value has been appraised at $45 million. But beyond the physical features of the coin, there is also the context of 2017 itself that adds to its importance, because this was the only year the Philadelphia Mint placed its P mint mark on the cent, making all 2017 P cents collectible, and the fact that the rarest and most valuable era cent of modern times emerged in that same year makes the story even more compelling, almost as if the coin were destined to be legendary, and this historical significance fuels collector desire as much as the eras themselves. Imagine the thrill of the person who first discovered this coin, perhaps pulling it from a bankroll or a pocketful of change, at first thinking it looked odd and then realizing upon further inspection and expert authentication that it was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth more than luxury mansions, yachts, and private jets combined. The feeling of holding such a treasure in your hand is almost indescribable, and it is exactly the kind of story that keeps collectors searching through their change every day, dreaming that they too might stumble upon the next multimillion-dollar penny. Stories like this also inspire the entire coin collecting community, drawing new people into the hobby who are fascinated by the possibility that ordinary coins can sometimes hide extraordinary secrets, and the 2017 P cent valued at $45 million has become a symbol of that dream, reminding us that the smallest, most overlooked objects can carry the greatest value. It also serves as a powerful reminder of the unpredictability of human and machine processes, because despite all the technology and quality control at the mint, mistakes still happen, and sometimes those mistakes slip out into the world and become treasures, and this unpredictability is what makes coin collecting so thrilling, because there is always the possibility of discovery, always the chance that something amazing is still out there waiting to be found. The value of this coin is also a reflection of collector psychology, because wealthy collectors are not just buying a piece of metal, they are buying a story, a legend, an artifact that connects them to history and gives them bragging rights over owning something no one else has.